Planet Dolan.
From kidnapping attempts to trying to drown a friend, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the scariest experiences we've had with stalkers. I'm Hellbent, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Morbus Akura. Honeybits was 13 when she had to go to therapy for her schizophrenia. In her therapy group, there was a guy who had a massive crush on her, but she wasn't interested. Every time Honeybits walked home, she would hear him or see him from a distance. For about a week, she got texts, boxes of Twinkies, and he played her favorite music. Honeybits' brother was worried and took her out of the therapy group. When the guy heard about it, he snapped. He went to her house and said, "You left me, you selfish bastard!" He had a knife in his pocket. His plan was to cripple her and keep her at his house. She screamed bloody murder, and her brother came in and called the police. The police took the guy, but before he was arrested, he gave her a Twinkie. The wrapper was stapled closed. Honeybits hesitated, but decided to open it. It had his blood mixed into the cream. He said he did it so he can always be with her. Number 9 was submitted by Cracked Egg. Doopy was sitting on a bench at the park with her friend where they listened to some Rob Zombie before they went home. When the song ended, they got up to walk to Doopy's house. When they started to go past the school park, they heard a man say, "What are you doing out here alone?" Having anxiety, Doopy said,
Walking home?
They picked up a rock just in case he came after them. When Doopy and her friend got to their house, they heard, "I'm pretty lonely." They looked back. It was the same man. He walked up to them and grabbed her friend's arm. Luckily, the man who lived next to Doopy was a cop. She doesn't know if she was just lucky, but the cop ran out of his door and got the man. It turned out the man was accused of kidnapping several kids and had broken into a home. After that day, Doopy and her friend never went anywhere alone. Number 8 was submitted by kickbutkiller. In 7th grade, Gergak opened the cupboard that held everyone's laptops. He found a note from a secret admirer saying she wanted to see him on the stage. Being the lonely kid who wanted a girlfriend, Gergak went, and when he saw there was no one there, he got sad. A few days later, he got another note saying she was in lunch detention and wanted to meet up again. He went to meet her, but heard rustling in the flower bush. He looked and a girl ran away. Every day at lunch, Gergak would see her hiding in the bushes. One time she tapped on his window, opened it, and whispered,
"Oh, my handsome darling, one day.
Number 7 was submitted by Mia X May X13. Melissa was talking to her crush when she saw her stalker walk into the room. He stared at her and had the face of a rapist. Melissa was scared and told her crush all about him. Then she felt hot breathing on her neck. Then someone touched her hair. She looked at her crush, who was terrified. Melissa looked behind her and the stalker smiled while inhaling really close to her face. He cut off a piece of her hair with scissors and whispered into her ear, "I will treasure this forever." Melissa and her crush quickly stormed out of the room and looked at each other, then at the stalker, who was still staring. And to this day, I still sleep with that lock of hair next to my pillow. Number 6 was submitted by Zephyr000. Once a friend of Andy Mation's had her text her long-distance boyfriend every time something happened between them. Eventually, they became friends, even after her boyfriend broke up with her friend. They never communicated beyond texting, so Andy just had to trust that he was who he said he was. The summer she turned 16, she went to visit family across the country for 2 months and lost touch with him. When she got home, her mom lectured her about giving their address to strangers. Andy said,
"I've never given anyone our address."
She then handed Andy a stack of letters from the friend. The address was that of a prison. Andy read a few and realized he was a 30-year-old pedophile who decided to write her after he was caught and arrested. Her mom then asked,
"Are you gonna keep saying that you didn't give him our address?"
Andy said,
"I swear, I never gave it to him."
It turned out that he'd taken the picture she had sent him and was able to piece together where she lived. He had just gotten her specific address a few days before he was arrested. He told his fellow inmates that when he got out, he was gonna get a plane ticket to the state where Andy lived. After all that, they moved to a new home and Andy is now in college. Wait, is it smart to say that she's going to a university? Number 5 was submitted by the Beast 81181. When Tulip was 10, every week a hobo walked out of the woods and followed him home. He got used to it until one day he came out of the woods with a chainsaw and a grenade! Tulip ran as fast as he could to his house. He told his stepdad, who was a police officer, that he was being chased. Tulip's stepdad told him to take his shotgun in a bag just in case it happened again. Well, it did. Many times, actually. Tulip found out a month later it was his uncle, so he had to go to court and tell the judge and jury what had happened. When his uncle was being taken out of the courtroom, he yelled that he would kill all of us. Number 4 was submitted by CuteGirl4_6. When Pandora was 10, she had this weird urge to look behind her whenever she was in public. And after 3 months, she figured out why. When she was at the mall with her mom, Pandora saw a guy. She thought nothing of it and ignored him, but the next day she saw him at McDonald's. Then she saw him taking pictures of her changing after school the day after. One day, her mother told her that a friend would be picking her up from school. After school, Pandora was talking to a friend on a bench in the park in the back of the school. The exact same guy came over and grabbed her by the hand.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the heck are you doing?
She asked. Her friend just started shouting, "Help! Help! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!" The guy took out a gun and shot her friend's legs. He took Pandora in his van and locked her in his basement. He gave her food every time he ate, would sometimes give her clothes, and made her sleep in some bed. After a few days, she was found. She was happy her friend had survived, but had to push her around in a wheelchair. The man didn't go to prison, and Pandora saw him a few months ago when she was with her friends. He changed his appearance, but she knew it was him because she knew he had a red head and saw his freckles. When he saw her, he wiggled his eyebrows. Number 3 was submitted by GeekySaur. When Nixiom was in middle school, there was a girl who lived in his neighborhood. She seemed normal at first glance, but all that changed one day. Nixiom had just gotten out of the shower and was getting dressed when he realized that his window was open and the clothes he had left out were missing. He didn't think anything of it, and then later he decided to go to the neighborhood swimming pool. When he got there, Nixiom saw the girl and he waved to her before jumping into the pool. He started talking with his other friend about normal teenage things like school and what they were gonna do this weekend. Then Nixiom said,
"There's this new girl at school and I want to ask her out because she's kind of cute."
Then, out of nowhere, the girl jumped into the pool and tried to drown him. His friend was able to get her off him and they ran to Nixiom's house. Later that night, Nixiom went to his room and to his horror, he saw his clothes that went missing before hanging on the wall. Above the clothes was red paint that spelled out, "You will only love me." Nixiom said,
"Fuck that."
And spent the night at his friend's house. A couple of days later, his family left the neighborhood, and as they pulled out in their U-Haul, Nixiom saw her standing there, smiling a very creepy smile. Number 2 was submitted by Aserous. When Sid was 15, he was walking home alone, but heard someone else walking too. When he turned around, nobody was there, so he just kept walking. He did keep hearing someone else walking behind him. When he got home, Sid had to go to the bathroom, but when he looked through the bathroom window, a girl was watching him. She was also holding a dildo. He shut the blinds, and when he was done, Sid saw her looking through the other windows. She said,
Hi, I've been watching you for a while and you didn't notice. I love watching you when you sleep.
He then shut all the blinds and still doesn't open them to this day, but that didn't stop the stalking. Every day after school, she would follow him and rub his arm. She'd ask,
Why did you shut all the windows?
Every time Sid saw her, he'd run away. This happened for 6 months before Sid finally moved. Now he could sleep again. What was my scariest experience with a stalker? Well, when you work security long enough, you make a few enemies. And believe it or not, I'm kind of a nice guy. I'll give somebody a couple of chances to fuck up. But inevitably, a few people abuse that generosity, and you gotta give them the boot. People handle the frustration of being kicked out in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they'll try to fuck up the building, other times they just have a fucking rage fit, and most of the time they go after the guy who kicked him out. But instead of attacking me in the open public, which would have been really stupid, he decided to find out which car I was driving and follow me home every night. I let this continue for a while because I figured he'd get it out of his system and eventually realize he's wasting his time. Unfortunately, it just got worse, to the point to where I'd see him parked out in front of my house on a near weekly basis, just sitting there. Which I gotta admit is kinda terrifying. He could have a gun, he could be waiting for me to leave my house and burn it down, all sorts of horrible shit. How did I solve the problem? Well, I talked to a couple of the people he was prodding for information and got his phone number. And from that point, finding his home address was as simple as opening up a phone book. With that information, I sent about half a dozen pictures to his house, ones that I took and ones that my friends who he prodded for information also took of him. Now, he could have taken that information to the police and given me a really big headache, but then he'd have to explain what he was doing outside of my house all those different days. Ultimately, that scared him off, and I haven't seen him since, but I do have to admit he did spook me pretty hard. I didn't want to come back home to a burnt-down house. Sometimes you just gotta fight fire with napalm. After all, if somebody's trying to intimidate you, they're gonna do things that they think are uncomfortable and awful. So you turn it around on them, and what do you know, they don't like it. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's your most painful experience ever? Tell us all about it in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. And that's all I got for now. I think I hear somebody outside. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I was listening to ask why he was wearing a skirt. Dolan looked down and realized he had accidentally put on his sister's skirt. He went bright red and asked if he could leave to change his clothes. His teacher wouldn't let him, so Dolan had to spend the whole class listening to terrible jokes about cross-dressers.